Not waiting. I'm standing up. I'm bowing. I'm sitting. I'm doing whatever is necessary. The God MC, how are you? The 18th letter. Have a seat, please. Oh, man.
Rakim.
Let's grab a microphone, please, sir. That's what you do.
He knows how to use that. He's a fiend.
He's
Did you like that? Did you hear that intro I gave you?
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
Did you hear that Long Island love?
And you got the crowd ready for me, man. I appreciate that, man.
Ciph, you moved the crowd?
I moved the crowd.
Ciph moves the crowd.
Now, listen, I want to ask you a question, Rakim, but first, it's very important. Has Matt Kemp been telling you about how endlessly I've been bothering him to have a conversation with you?
Yes, sir. That's why I'm here right now, man. Because
Okay,
usually, man, after a couple...
You're out.
Yeah, I'm done, man. I'm sitting on the couch and watching the show, man. But I got big respect, man, for what y'all do as well, man. And on some real, you know, I remember when things was a little crazy in New York and y'all came out with the show. And it felt like, you know what I mean, hip-hop again. So I want to salute you all for that as well, man.
Oh, well, that's...
Keep rocking.
Oh, thank you. That was the greatest honor of my life, and I'm going to kill myself as soon as the night's over.
No idea where to start.
No idea where to start. I don't know where to start, Rakim.
You don't know just how much time. Just go in.
Rakim, you were born in Long Island? Is that a fact?
Yes.
What hospital were you born in?
I was born in Southside, man.
And were you born to a musical family?
Yes, sir.
How much so are we talking about?
It runs pretty deep. My mom, she sang everything from opera to jazz, you know, back in her day. She even sang at the Apollo, you know what I mean? She was really chasing a dream. So my pop shut that down, you know what I mean?
How did he was not interested in her having that kind of lifestyle?
I mean, he would have loved it, you know what I mean? But, you know, at that time, I think, you know, they was a little more interested in raising a family, you know what I mean? You know, Pops kind of slowed that down, you know, but...
How many of you were there?
5 in the family. Five brothers and sisters, man.
And you are
5
which one?
brothers and sisters, put them in a line. No, forget it.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Which one were you?
I'm the youngest, man.
You're the youngest.
Word up.
And were you an attention kid? Did you want attention as a little kid?
Nah, actually, you know, I was good, man. I got mad love from the family, my big brothers and sisters, man. I got all the attention. They couldn't go nowhere without me. You know what I mean? I was spoiled. But I was kind of doing my own thing, man. I played sports since I was small. I was in the band when I was small. I was in all kind of, you know, after-school activities. Just trying to, you know, stay busy, man. But, you know, I definitely ran in my brothers and sisters' shadows, though.
Were any of them into music as well?
All of them, man.
Everyone was into it?
Yeah, no doubt.
What about with rap?
My oldest brother... Ronnie, big up my brother Ronnie. He went to school, you know, he played music, played the piano since he was small. Went to school for it. Long story short, he wound up with Curtis Blow on tour. He played the synthesizer on Dollar Bill, y'all. Dollar Bill, y'all.
Okay.
That's actually my brother saying that, Dollar Bill, y'all.
Really? What? Wait,
That's
what's
my
your brother's
brother,
name?
Ronnie Griffin. You know what I mean?
His last name's Griffin.
Yeah,
you didn't know.
Yeah. But yeah, man.
What?
And you know, the influences that was passed down, man. Like my older brother, Stevie Blast, he played the saxophone, so I picked up the saxophone.
I heard you play like 11 instruments. Is that true?
Close, man. You know what I mean? Like I play the piano with one finger, and I layer it, and it sound like Stevie Wonder came through. But you know, I got an ear for I got an ear for music. You know what I mean? But
wait, did you play the drums on Know the Ledge? I played the drums.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll get there. Hold on, we're gonna get there.
I know you got
we got to hit stuff. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir,
when did you
yes,
start?
sir.
When did you start getting serious about the music thing?
I think since I was young, man, because of the influences around me. You know, my oldest brother was already out there in the mix. My brother under him, Stevie Blast, that's the one that plays keyboards, move the crowd, and all that for me back in the day. Again, he played sax. My sisters sang, so I was always around music. And you know, back then, coming up as a kid, you know, if it wasn't Michael Jackson or you know, Stevie Wonder or you know, Kool and the Gang, you know, we was always influenced by what was going on, and we wanted to be stars, you know, at a young age. I know at least I did, man. But
Was there any sort of like park scene though in Long Island? Like Long Island is different.
Sir.
There
yes,
still
sir.
was.
Oh, big time.
What
man.
was the park
I was
scene?
in a little hood, man. You know, wine dance. Big up to my people out wine dance.
Wine
man.
dance. You've told me about wine dance before.
Yeah,
crime dance. If you will.
Yeah, I didn't even know if y'all knew. That's what we call it, crime dance.
I lived there
man.
for a little while.
Wow.
Next door to a chop shop and a whorehouse.
Okay.
Watch it, Ciph. You people gonna be coming looking for you, baby. Hey, yo, but you know, it was like, you know, being raised by a village, man. It was a small hood, but you know, everybody knew everybody. You know, things still popped off, man. But you know, it's what made me who I am.
Do you remember who the DJ was at the park? Yeah,
it was a few, man. We had DJ Pleasure, big up Pleasure. That was one of the first cats I remember. Nelson PR, another cat I remember. Then after that, it you know, just went crazy. Breeze, Maniac, Dr. Say. I mean, you know, list goes on, man. And that's another thing about the town. It was flourishing, man. From sports to music to, you know, everybody trying to come up, man. And it kind of
who else is from Wine Dance from sports? Was anyone who popped off?
Yeah, we had this brother named George Cooper, fullback for the football team. He went to Ohio State, then he went to the pros, man. He hurt his shoulder, dislocated his shoulder, so it slowed him down a lot, man. But, you know, some good things came out of there, man, you know, as far as inspiration, man. So, you know, I owe a lot to that, man.
And at what age did you start getting serious about rhymes?
I always thought I was pretty good, man, but I think like 8th, 9th grade, man. I started getting a little more serious, and you know, at that time, hip hop was growing in the hood, and at that time, you know, it was DJing and MCing for me. But I think about that time, I knew I was ready to, you know, stick to MCing, man. But you know, I think it was a pretty good move. I'm all right on the ones and twos, man. But
wait, don't say you DJ too.
Oh, no doubt.
Everyone DJ. It's one of the
that's
things.
Yeah, you have to, man. Well, you have to, man. You know, I got the Serato set up in the crib. I got a whole room full of vinyl. You know what I mean? I switched over to the Serato, but you know, we going to the crib tonight, man. I'm going to turn the Serato on and we going to rock on, you know what I mean? We starting it off with Annie Up, man. Yeah. I told my man Fang, you know. But, yeah, man, we you know, we love this music, man, and, you know, me.
So you start 8th, 9th grade, you start writing somewhat seriously. Is this like during school, you sitting in class just writing rhymes?
Well, nah, actually what I was doing was kind of, you know, sponging everything up, man. That's when I started realizing that my education helped me, you know, in what I was doing, man. You know, hearing Mo D back in the day and Melly Mel back in the day, I realized, yo, man, either go get the newspaper or, you know, make sure you're in school early, man. I understood that vocabulary and understanding, you know, how to write essays, you know what I mean? It sound corny to all my young MCs out there, but listen, man, it's about understanding how to write, how to attract the crowd, how to tell a story, how to put, you know, interesting things in the story, man. And if you in that age right now, man, you in school, man, learn an essay, man, and watch how dope you get on the mic. You heard?
Where in this story is gaining knowledge of self?
I gained knowledge of self in 86, late 85.
Same age though, 9th grade, 10th grade?
No, 86, not until he was a rap, not until he was on already.
Yeah, I just got knowledge of self in like late 85, 86.
So your career was already starting.
So you had just got knowledge when you first put out records?
Just before I met Eric B, man. It was like maybe a few months before I met Eric B. Word up.
So you get serious with the rhymes as a kid, and you're saying like...
Did you get his rap name?
What was your first rap name?
Kid Wizard.
Kid Wizard. Way better than Rakim.
Right. Way better. I should have kept that one, right?
Exactly. Way better. Now, here's the thing, Rock. Here's what I got to ask you.
All right.
This is what makes you a genius. This is what makes you why everyone looks at you the way we do, and I'm nervous about talking to you.
Thank you, my brother.
I mean that from the bottom of my heart. This is a big deal for me. How were you able to write in a way that you hadn't heard anyone write previously?
Good question.
Before Rakim, there was no Rakim. I'll be honest, we don't look at those records
like when
the same
rap
way.
Now in a certain way, we're like, oh, he kind of sounded like Rakim. but there was nothing like
Nothing
that before.
But who? I mean, maybe you'll say it was Kaz. Maybe you'll say there was someone, but who was it that you based it on? Because I don't hear it.
Nah, I think it had. Well, you know, my biggest influence was Kaz, Melly Mel, and Mo D. You know, those are like my big brothers, man. But I think it was my music, my involvement with music, being around music, my mother playing jazz all the time, and me liking jazz and being in a band and learning how to play an instrument. I kind of learned time and space. You know what I mean? But my secret was John Coltrane, man. I used to listen to John Coltrane, and I used to want to make my flow sound like a John Coltrane solo. You know what I mean? And
Like the sax.
No, I don't know. Because guess what? I'm a simpleton.
You know what I mean?
So your voice, you were making it like an instrument.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But the funny thing is, but usually when people do that, like the people I think of making their voice like an instrument, I think of someone where the vocals,
singing?
or the vocals are secondary. Like I think of Old Dirty in that way. But with Old Dirty, it's not about what he's saying; it's about the way he used his voice.
Exactly.
You actually use your. It's not just your voice. You use the words to fit that. Like you were such a master. Like.
And intellect. Like,
Right, that's the thing. Like you used word selection that other people didn't use previous to you. Like what you said earlier about how studying was important to what you did. It actually like would you try to find words?
Oh, no doubt.
Would you be looking in a dictionary like, yo, I'm gonna find a good word to fit.
Nah, like it wasn't really like I couldn't look in the dictionary. It would kind of throw me off because then you open a book of. You know, you open the dictionary now, you see millions of words, and it takes.
Method Man is saying hello to
Oh,
Rakim.
Method Man is saluting to Rakim.
Saluting, hand on heart. He kind of waved to us.
I'll take the wave.
sir.
That's Papa Wu right there.
That's Papa Wu who's taking time.
That's
to
the first
Wu
person
was
I ever.
building.
Papa Wu's the first person I ever heard speak at a 5% rally.
Really?
Papa Wu right there.
But by the way, this is a great moment.
Yo, there's 1,000 niggas with meth.
Yeah, that's Method Man. It's Method Man at a New York show, and there's Rick Ross as well. But this is a great moment to have with Rakim, and we'll get to it. I don't want to stop from where we are. Let's get back to. We'll talk about how other artists respect you, but about how you would find words for your rhymes.
Oh yeah, I was always fishing for words, man, and that's what I mean by paying a little extra attention in English class and social studies and things like that. A lot of people used to ask me, yo, you be looking in the dictionary? Said, nah, man, I don't look in the dictionary, man, but
You absorbed it.
Exactly, man. I used to absorb everything I could, man, in the midst of, living.
Okay, so here's the craziest question I have.
What up?
Rakim, to me, you're like one of the coolest figures in my life.
Thank you.
Were you cool in school?
Oh, man, listen, man.
Because you were paying attention in class, which wasn't always
no
the cool
doubt,
thing.
no doubt. But listen, man, I'm not going to sit here like I was a, straight A student or even a B student, but the teachers knew I can do it. I was a little knucklehead. Sometimes I skip class, you know what I mean? But I was a smart, young cat, man. I got it. But
not because you weren't having a good time also, and you did both. You were social and you paid attention.
You know what I mean? Exactly, man.
Did you drink?
And at the same time, moms and pops, they ain't play that, cutting school, and you know what I mean. Even though I did as much as I could, but
your parents were on you.
Ultimate respect for moms and pops, man.
And you were always in a 2-parent home. Your parents were together.
Yes, sir.
Always.
To
this day.
No, they passed away.
They both have passed, but they stayed together.
Always. Yes, sir.
What about weed and drinking?
What about it, man?
Did you do that in high school?
Yeah, I smoked a little in high school, man. You know what I mean? Drank a little bit in high school.
But you weren't like out of control in any way.
Nah, not at all, man. And again, I had to come home at night, and moms used to. And it's funny, she used to do it to the whole fam. You come in at night, late at night, toe up a little bit. Moms will look at you. She'd be like, "Come here, boy. Let me smell your eyes." You know what I mean? And being a young kid, the first thing you do is you sober up. You get nervous, and she'd be like, start laughing on you. But you had to have that respect for moms and pops. You couldn't come in sloppy. You know what I mean? You couldn't come in too late, especially on.
They might have known you were doing something.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But if they seen I was handling my little, swagger and coming home at the right time and waking up, going to school, feeding the dogs, you know what I mean, cleaning up my little area, cutting the grass. They ain't really had too much to say.
Was it a big dog family? Do you guys always have dogs?
Yeah, we had like 3 dogs, man.
Who were the dogs? What kind of dogs?
Had German Shepherds and Collies and shit like that.
You still have dogs to this day or no?
Oh, no doubt. Well, my wife got dogs and they kind of attached to me, but yeah.
What kind of dogs do you have now?
She got a mini Yorkie and a poodle, man.
Yeah, please don't say both mini.
The poodle's kind of big.
Full size, okay.
He's supposed to be, but the other ones are.
I just want to picture Rakim with a mini.
Oh, yo, you should see me on Sundays, G. Look. Dog right here, man. I got remote control every now and then. Damn, pardon me. Dog right here. I'll be like, yo, go upstairs with your moms, man. I always loved animals, man, so it's all right, man. It's all right.
Okay, so we got to get to your career a little bit. How does it end up getting started, the actual career get started for Rakim?
My man Alvin Toney, cat I grew up with in Wyandanch, from the football team, my man LBJ, what up, baby? He brought Eric B to my crib one day, man.
Wait, did you say who? Albie?
LBJ.
Is it the same person
Alvin
or no?
Tony.
Different Albie.
Who you think?
Albie,
different.
Okay, okay, just being clear. Someone else was
Alvin
giving.
Tony.
All right.
So I'm sitting at the crib one day, and he knocks on the door, and I was real tight, because moms and pops ain't, appreciate just anybody coming to the crib too. So I go to the door, open the door, my man standing there with Eric B. So I look at him, I'm like, yo. He like, yo, Rod, this is Eric B, man. He lived with Marley Marl and Magic and all that. He want to make a record and shit. So I look at him and shit. Real shit. I look at Eric and shit. Like, yo, Duke, I don't like nobody in the crib. He's like, yo, Rod, real shit, man. Yo, he be with Marley. He work at BLS, boom. And at this time, I thought I was going to be a football player. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, come on in the crib, man. Took him downstairs, and I had this little tape that I made. So when I go to college, niggas start talking, I could just put my tape in. And it's funny, I'm saying tape. Well, it was a cassette.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
What else would it be?
But as soon as niggas start talking, I could throw the cassette in and let it rock. I ain't have to say nothing. But I let Eric be in the crib. Took him downstairs, the little basement area Mom and Pop had hooked up real nice. Throw the joint in. And there was like a long version of my melody. You know what I mean? So Eric B heard it.
Hold on, what beat? Who did the beat?
His brother played on it.
Oh, your brother played my melody.
Yeah, we used to go to my man Maniac house, this kid Paul Garrard. Big up to Maniac. We used to go to his crib. He had like a nice little setup where we can kind of make little beats, and I mean Casios and shit like that back in the day. But it was nice, man. But we used to go over there do my little thing. But I let Eric B hear the tape, man, and he was like, yo, I could take it to Marley and see what we can do with it. So I was like, I'm going to college. I don't really want to make a record at this point. I said, but if you get a deal.
Did you already get accepted to college, or you was going?
Nah, I was just working out, trying to get, you know what I mean?
Right. So you planned on going to college?
Yeah, and my cousin kind of put a good word in for me at Stony Brook. So I was trying to, work out, get my little game on. I played quarterback.
You were quarterback?
No doubt.
By the way, it's only right.
Yeah, it's
only right.
What else would he be?
Gotta be in control, man.
In control.
But yeah, man, it's doing that, and Eric B comes to the crib. I let him head, and I was like, yo, I don't really know if I want to do that. He was like, well, yo, you can be featured on the joint, and you don't have to sign nothing. That's why it was Eric B featuring Rakim.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So
thank you, because I've always wondered about that. It's never quite made sense.
I thought I was going to be quarterback somewhere, man.
So you didn't want to sign. You said, nah, let it be your record, and I'll just be featured on it.
Word up. And he came up with it, but I was kind of hitting around, like, how could we do it where I don't have to sign? And he was like, well, you can just be featured on the joint. And
he never heard anything before that?
Eric B? From me?
That's the first, yeah.
Yeah, that was the first.
So somebody he knew told him.
Yeah, my man Alvin Toney.
Alvin told him
this was kind of the story. He asked my man who was the nicest cat out there.
Yeah, I remember. I heard him tell this.
Yeah, and he brought him, to the crib, and the rest is history.
So
man.
he thought you were. So there were people already, even from very young, who thought you were really nice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And they would tell you like, yo, you're really good. Like, this is really good.
No doubt.
But you had no plans on even pursuing it?
I didn't think it was, you know what I mean? I didn't think it was that good and worth pursuing.
Do you remember the first time you then heard Eric B as president on the radio?
No doubt.
Wait, Eric B for president is the record you made?
Yeah.
And My Melody on the B-side. You put My Melody on the B-side, correct?
Right.
So you kept My Melody. You went Eric B for president or Eric B as president,
is it true
depending
you
which
recorded
president.
My Melody sitting on the couch?
Just like this. And it was funny because Marley Marl kept going.
The mic.
Marley Marl kept saying, yo, Ross, stand up, man. Give me, I need a little more energy. I said, yo, if I stand up, it's gonna sound the same way, man. Shit, it don't matter, man. And, he looked at me. He was like, all right. So we did a couple more takes, and it was the same shit. Turn up the bass, check out my. I had a crazy nasal tone. Turn up the bass, check out my melody, and I sit down. He was like, yo, man, you sure you don't want to stand up? I was like, nah, I'm good, man. So
how old? 18?
17. Word up. So MC Shan comes to the joint.
Okay, of course he did.
So he was like, yo, Shan, take over the session and shit. So Shan come in, press record. I start rhyming. Turn up the bass, check out my melody. Shan hit stop. And I guess Marley already told him, yo, try to get him to rhyme. So Shan hit stop, turn around. He said, yo, Lord. Yo, God, won't you stand up and, you know what I mean? I was like, yo, Shan, man, Marley already tried that, man. I said, yo, this is it, man. This is it, man. I said, yo, it ain't that I'm sleepy or high, man. This is the way I rhyme, man. So, we went through it a couple more times, man, but I stuck to my guns and did what I did. And long story short, we did a show after the song dropped with Juice Crew, and I'm walking up to the back door. I see MC Shan, Magic, Allah Bless the Dead, and Marley. So I'm walking up to the door, and I see him, and they was like, yo, God, we get it, man. We get it now, man. You know what I mean? After it came out, and it kind of did what it did, but, I'm glad I stuck to my guns.
Which one took off first, My Melody or Eric Berry's President?
I think the President kind of
that moved more.
That's the first one I heard.
And you heard Marley play it first or Magic?
Actually, Teddy Ted, Special K.
Oh, shout out to Awesome too.
Wow.
They were the first ones you heard play.
No doubt.
And did it say, now, is this the moment in which you go, oh, I actually may be an MC. Maybe I'm not a football player. Maybe I'm an MC.
Yeah, it kind of started resonating at that point, man. And, you could see I stopped growing. And it would have been rough out there, 5'8", trying to be a quarterback.
Are you really 5'8"?
About 5'8", 5'9".
That really speaks to, first of all, okay, here's the difference. I'm close to 5'8", 5'7", 3/4", whatever I am, 5'8". And I am one kind of man. You are 5'8", and you are a different kind of man. I've never thought of you as being 5'8". Like, I'm thought of as short. You're not thought of as short. Because he's a god. Because he's the god MC, the 18.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Oh, that's so crazy. All right, so how crazy does the record go in New York?
Yo, it was... I mean,
talking to that mic, Rakim. I never thought I'd have to say that to Rakim, but
it shocked me, man. I didn't expect to do it to do what it did.
You liked it when you did it, right? Or
yeah, but coming from Long Island, so far away from the game, you would think, I didn't know how the world in New York would take it, man.
Right.
I'm a humble dude, man. To this day, what I mean? I try to stay humble and not let nothing get to me, but recognize my accolades and I respect that. But I ain't think it was gonna pop off like that. That's why I was like, yo, man, you can do the joint, man. I'm gonna go to college
And where'd you go? Where'd you end up going to school?
I wound up going to Ghetto USA.
No, I know that school.
University.
Which is?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, the record popped off so quick.
Oh, that you didn't go?
Yeah, I had to drop out of high school.
The record?
I had to drop out of high school.
Oh, you were senior? You were a senior?
Yeah.
Just like my senior year, Ciph. I was popping that year.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Did he pay you to feature on the record?
Yeah, no doubt. We got paid. We split everything down the middle from the rep.
And then,
and who was who did the original version? Was on which label again?
Zakia,
of course, Zakia Records. That's the original version.
Yes,
and
sir.
then you ended up. That was a single deal.
Oh yeah.
And then you signed with 4th and Broadway.
Yeah, kind of moved over to 4th after that.
And who brought you to 4th and Broadway? Why that?
It was like a merger, cause my man from Zakia kind of set that up with 4th and Broadway. I guess he seen that it was.
Probably bigger than what he expected.
Yeah, and passed it off to them, which was a good move because we went from there to MCA, 4th and Broadway, which is MCA, but we went to Universal after that and kind of moved up. But
but you did always stay. Are there some people who always stayed involved in this from the beginning, from 4th and Broadway to MCA to Universal?
Nah, it kind of changed as it went on. 4th and Broadway, I think we did the single with them, and then I think the first album was Universal, Paid in Full. But, again, man, it kind of pushed us along. Once we got in Fall from Broadway, it kind of opened everybody's, ears up, and we kind of moved up in MCA.
Ciph, I'm going to do something crazy we don't ever do on Juan Epstein. But in fear of at some point he's going to have to leave and we don't get to it, I want to throw this out. Way down the road. We're jumping way down the road, and I don't want to skip all this stuff, but at some point you've been gone for a while, and it was like Rakim's going to come out with Dre. Right. That's going to happen.
Hey, you jumped.
I know I jumped, but it's important because I jumped way ahead. But
I get it, though. I get it.
Rakim's gonna come out with Dre.
Yeah.
I buy a fucking bootleg. There were many of them. New York to Cali.
Right.
From New York to Cali. Dope fucking record. There are these Dre records that supposedly exist between Rakim and Dre. What actually happened? Was that ever actually going to happen?
Yeah, I went out there, was working with him and everything, and got a little timely, and Dre had a lot going on, and after a while, I was like, Dre, look, man, I've been out here for a while, bro.
Now this is unusual to hear, Rakim, because you are generally known as the one who's slow, and I say that with all due respect as the greatest of all time. But you are generally known as the one who might not, might be a little late.
It
might take you a minute. But it was Dre. You're saying,
and that's funny. Not not to put it all on Dre, but he had a lot on his plate, I guess, man. And
this is around '94. Around there?
This is 2001.
Oh, this is that much later.
2002.
But I was hearing this in the '90s, even that this was happening.
I think that's when he first mentioned it.
He
first mentioned something in like the late '90s.
Okay.
They asked him who would he like to work with.
Yes, I heard that.
Yeah,
not '94 though.
Hold on, do you remember the record New York to Cali?
Yeah.
Was that a Dre record or no?
Nah.
It was not.
That was something that. A joint I was working on that didn't make the album.
Okay,
kind of put it out later on, but yeah.
And so this is after the album Book of Life.
Yeah.
Okay, this is after that.
Yeah.
So you were out there.
Yeah.
And the process was just slow.
Yeah, man. He had a couple people on the label, and again a bunch on his plate. So it got to the point I was like, look, Dre, man, I appreciate, man, the opportunity and all that, man. I said, but listen, man, I'm gonna go back to New York and he was like, Rob, man, give me a little more time. That's why I knew it was, he had a lot on his plate or whatever, man. But gave him a little more time. It still ain't worked out, man. I came back and kind of started over, man. But big up to Dre, man, and good luck with everything in the future, man.
So there was no hard feelings. You just didn't have
not at all, man. He did some good
Dre's
things.
A billionaire, right?
Oh, no doubt.
Okay.
No doubt.
It worked out. It worked out.
He said good luck to Dre. He's a billionaire.
No.
It worked out for him.
Things happen every day, man.
Right.
Things happen every day.
Luck doesn't straight things up.
There are Rakim Dre records somewhere.
Yeah, there's a few.
How many do you guys get done?
But the thing is me and Dre may have only did a couple, but there was some other producers.
Battle Cat, people like that?
All them
Mailman? That's what I mean. Mailman, Battle
Cat. I didn't get a chance to work with Mailman, man.
Scott Storch.
It was a bunch going on. Scott was
doing the Dre.
Yeah, that was kind of like around the time where they kind of split up. So
right.
Scott was at the studio a couple times. We kicked it, and we was like, I can't wait to. And I ain't see Scott no more.
Another very important question that takes us back a little bit. The What's on Your Mind story, is that a real story or is it just a straight up fantasy story? You're on the train. Sorry, it's Rakim.
Go introduce Red and Meth.
Go introduce Red and Meth.
Don't ask me 5% questions.
5% questions are all you. All right, hurry up though, please. Hurry up. All right, so what's on your mind? Is that just a straight up fantasy story? What's up with that?
Yeah, that's artistry, man. That's what we used to call lady songs, you know what I mean? Songs for the ladies, things like that. But that mahogany, it's some of it's how I feel, let the rhythm hit them. I said before I let this Fifi I get. Fifi is actually my wife's name. So it's hidden truths, you know what I mean, inside now, but most of it's artistry.
How long have you been with your wife?
Since 9th grade.
9th grade. Wow, that is when I was with my ex-girlfriend in 9th grade.
Your ex-girlfriend.
And we had a hell of a run. We made it till we were 20, which is a pretty good run.
No doubt.
This is more impressive, though. You're talking about 30. You're talking about 30 years.
30 something.
Well, 30 something.
Like she remind me all the time. 30 something. 30 something. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Well,
man.
Black Don't Crack. You guys look fantastic. So you wouldn't even know it was 30 something years.
Thank you, baby.
So I don't want to get completely lost here. What's your favorite one, man? They're
favorite song.
The favorite one, man. I think over the years, recently, I'll give you a second to jog your thoughts. Recently, for me, and by that I mean the last 10 years or so, I feel like my favorite has become I Ain't No Joke. I don't know why. I don't know if it's from a DJ standpoint. I love cutting it up like it's a good record to bring in. The first video I remember is Microphone Fiend with you kicking over the letters and shit. But I Ain't No Joke has become one that But at the same time, if someone put a gun to my head and was like, what's the best Eric B. and Rakim song or Rakim song of all time, I might end up saying Know the Ledge, which is the Juice soundtrack. Yeah, but which one for you is the one that stands out the most?
It's funny, man, because like myself, I like songs that people probably never even heard.
Believe me, I heard it. What is it?
I like the joints like Punisher. Lyrics of Fury was my favorite too for a long time.
Yeah.
And then it became it's funny, but the 18th Letter and
Saga Begins.
That's a good one too.
When I'm flowing,
Pete Rock, that's my dude. On that Saga
it's been a long time,
but yeah.
Guess who's back? I mean,
and then I'm gonna have to say, Know the Ledge, man. You know what I mean? That joint right there. It just worked out perfect. You know what I mean? It was funny. They called me up and told me about the movie. They let me sit down and watch the movie before it came out. They let me know they wanted me to do the soundtrack. So I went and checked the movie out, which was dope. And I had put this record aside maybe 4 or 5 days before that, the bass line to Know the Ledge.
You had found the bass line?
Yeah. You know
okay.
What I mean? So I put it to the side, not knowing, what I was going to do with it, but I know it sound dope. Like, let me put this to the side. Went and seen the movie, came back home, went straight in the little pre-production room I had at the time. And the first thing I did, I had a stack leaning on the speakers, and the first record that I pulled out was that bass line. Put it on, doom, 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 doom. It's crazy. I said, yo, this is it right here, man. Added a couple things to it, and everything just worked out perfect.
So you produced Know the Ledge?
Yeah, no doubt.
How proud are you of that? Because that has to mean a little extra, too. I mean, you have great records that Marley did, but it's different when you did it yourself.
Exactly, man. And again, I played the drums on that joint. And it was kind of like, something that I kind of started from scratch, man. And the way everything just popped off, it was like perfect. Sometimes when you're doing a record, you might have a vision or, a certain sound that you're trying to create. And you might, not get there, but you get close. I'm not saying that Juice was perfect, but everything worked out perfect. Like I looped the beat up right quick in the crib. Was in this little tiny room. Wifey kept cracking the door open on me, but I wrote 2 verses to it. Went to the studio, laid the 2 verses down, played the drums, took it back home, wrote the other 2 verses, came back in, and the rest is history, man. But the energy I got from that movie, man, and just the feeling of it, and I had a feeling it was going, resonate big in hip hop, man. So I kind of, used that energy and that's what came out.
Did you like Ghostface's version? Did you ever hear?
No doubt. That's my dude.
Ghost is back?
Yeah, that's my
man. You and Ghost have to like each other. I couldn't imagine you not getting along.
I mean, I love Ghost, man. I mean, he one of the cats that keep it so hip-hop, man. I respect him big time.
So let's take a moment to talk about that. The people. You've continued to be a fan. This is your culture. I mean, it may be weird for us to understand because you help create the culture and you're the flag bearer and the standard, but you're a fan of it.
Yes, sir.
So I want to throw some names at you and tell me any interaction you had with these people and what it was like with you.
Okay.
And I'll start with Biggie Smalls. Did you and Biggie have much interaction?
Yeah, man. A couple times, not much, but I remember the first time I seen Biggie. I was in Cali. I was taking my son. It's funny, man. I was taking my son to see Jimmy Iovine. This is when Time Warner was trying to cut ties with Jimmy Iovine's label because of all of the
controversy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he was trying to hire some young artists, and Heard my son can rhyme. My oldest son, Talmel, had him rhyming since he was like 4 years old. So I take my son out there to see Jimmy Iovine. Later on that night, I think I was taking my son to the movies, and I'm walking through the lobby. I look over, I see about 5, 6 cats. I could tell it was New York, but I ain't see Big yet. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I could tell it was New York. I'm in Cali. I could tell it was New York. But I look, I'm like, all right, New York in the building. I look back, Big had his back turned. I look again, I'm like, yo, hold up, man. All right, yeah, this is New York. That's Big right there, you know what I mean? And as I'm looking, my son, when I look back, my son damn near out in the street. Yo, so I called my son back, and as I'm doing that, Big turned around. Then he was like, yo, peace, man, boom, boom, boom. Went over, gave him a pound. We exchanged respect.
What did he react like to see you, though? Because the same way you're my hero, you are Biggie's hero.
Wow.
And even though Biggie's all of our hero,
Wow.
it's crazy to think about. He's younger than you.
Wow.
He looked up to you. So
Wow,
what
I didn't know that.
I mean, like, what did it feel like? Do you remember? Did it feel like someone who admired you?
Oh,
like,
no doubt. And I didn't expect that because again, man, I'm a humble dude, man. I try to, take it as it come, man. But you know what I mean? When I look back, he was like, yo, peace, baby, boom, boom, boom. I walked over, I felt nothing but love. He let me know how much he appreciated what I did for hip-hop and all that. Asked me what I was doing. Told him I was, out there seeing Jimmy. So we kicked it for a quick minute, man, and I bounced off, man. But, yeah, man, I definitely felt the love, and I'm sure he felt, the mutual respect from me as well.
Did you have now? Speaking of Juice, did you have any interaction with Tupac?
Yeah, we met a couple times, man. It's funny. The first time I met Pac was back in the day. We was on tour in Florida, and we pulling into the arena, and there's some cats standing out there with this big Rakim poster. So we stopped. And we opened the door up, and it was Digital Underground before they popped off. My man Hump had drew the picture. It's crazy. It was a picture of me laying on like
Humpty Hump, Shock G, whichever
Shock
version
G.
it was.
You know what I mean? My man Shock. He drew a mad piece, man. Big up Shock.
He did actual artwork and drew a
no
picture.
Doubt. Crazy too. I still got it in my studio to this day, man.
Wow,
to
really?
This day. Word up. And this was '89.
Okay, yeah. When they first started popping.
Word up.
Like this is like Do What You Like. Yeah,
Word
yeah.
is born. Just before that. You know
okay.
what I mean? Because after the joint came out and I was like, oh, okay, that's bing, 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 bing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But dope artists, man, and I seen them that day. I extended the love, got them passes, introduced them. I'm sure they probably knew, mad people already, but I made sure I got them passes, bought them in the joint.
Just
man.
out of respect, because you loved that they drew a picture of you. They just showed love.
Yes, sir. Yes,
got
sir.
it. Okay. And Pac was there then.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then did you get to meet him around Juice also?
We met again. I didn't meet him for the Juice joint. I met him like a couple years before that. And then we used to speak on the phone through a mutual friend when he was in the studio. He used to call my crib.
What would he say to you? What would he call you about?
First time he called, it was just, yo, Rob, man, what's going on, man? You know what I mean? Yo, I'm up in the studio. I was like, Pac, peace, man. Just the what's good rhetoric, man. You know what I mean? But he was up there doing his thing. And we just spoke for a brief minute. I told him, do your thing. And I was like, yo, we got to get in the studio together. And every time we see each other or speak to each other, because we spoke more than we seen each other. But it was just that love, man. I knew, what he stood for and what he was, trying to do, man. I love, the conscious movement. I love MCs that was bringing that, man. So I had, nothing but respect for Pac.
And let's keep going. What's your relationship with Hov?
Oh, Hov, man. I don't hang out with too many cats, man. As far as entertainers, man. But Hov is one of the cats I got a lot of respect for, man. Watching where I came from with hip hop. It was lucrative. It was lucrative then, man. But watching, how I grew and how he, did his thing, man. Not only in business, man, but on wax, man. I think Hov is one of the dopest songwriters to this day, man. You know what I mean? And met Hov a few times, and you know what I mean. It's just none but respect, man.
So let me ask this. I don't know how to ask this in a way that makes sense or is appropriate, but Hov, we all know, is richer than God, right? Like
Yes,
Hov is it's him and Beyonce. They are
No doubt.
they are different level.
No doubt.
You've obviously done well for yourself, but your biggest wealth is in who you are and what people
Yes,
think
sir.
of you.
Yes, sir. I'm nowhere near rich. Don't
Exactly.
Don't get it
You are somewhat a regular guy financially,
Right.
even though you're not a regular guy in the way we see you.
Thank you.
So what is it like when you have an interaction with someone like Hov, who, when you're, at one point, he obviously admires you, but at the same time, you're like, you couldn't even imagine the life that Hov lives,
Right.
even though he lives it partially because of you.
Well, it goes around, man. Because I remember when I came out, me and Eric B had the first $1 million record contract, and when I came out,
This is your second contract.
Yeah, when we signed the first album deal.
Oh, with Fourth and Broadway?
No, excuse me, with
MC, yeah, Universal.
You know
Okay.
what I mean? But we was living, pretty good
large.
at that time.
Pretty-
You know what I mean?
the time, it was large.
And, you pulling up in your things, and you got your things on, and you
Yeah.
got it's the same thing, I guess, that the people before me felt when that time was present.
Of course.
So, you know what I mean? I get it, and it don't bother me at all, man. Like, it never, like, crossed my mind. Like, and on that note, like, I'm a big sports fan, and it's the same thing that happened to them. Some of the, players back in the day that was trendsetters and trailblazers, for some of the contracts that the players is getting now.
Barry Sanders didn't even make what Todd Gurley makes, right? It's not
exactly.
even. And Barry Sanders is one of the greatest. Todd Gurley's a nice running back. He's not Barry Sanders
at all.
And
not yet.
Not yet.
Big up, T. Yeah, I mean, you next, baby.
Yeah, listen.
But, you know what I mean?
Hopefully, it doesn't run all over your Giants. Are you Giants?
Yeah, all day, man.
Hopefully, it doesn't run all over your Giants tomorrow.
Man. And I got to get up early for that one.
Early. I know. We'll wrap up soon, so I know you.
Don't worry about it. I got to just stay up and not go to sleep to catch that one.
Yeah, no, I'm a Redskins fan, so I want to get up and watch it tomorrow and see what happens too.
Yes, sir.
But what about Eminem?
Man, it's funny. I just played the freestyle he did last night. Well, he didn't do the freestyle last night. I just played it in my crib.
His new record, yeah.
M is a beast, man. You know what I mean? I respect M. And again, man, he's still on fire. He did a little joint where he was dissing Trump. And he said something about what's her name? Querum from ESPN.
Molly Karam.
Right.
Karam,
You know what I mean? And M is a beast, man.
Has he ever reached out to you? Have you guys talked? Have you and them met?
Yeah.
Did he shout you out in his Oscar speech?
Yes, sir.
He shouted you. And have you guys met?
Yeah, we met a few times back when I was out there with Dre. We did a couple magazines together too. You know what I mean?
You never
sat in the studio.
Have you ever rapped in the same room or no?
Nah.
Is he one that sort of blew your mind as far as where he went with the same way we talked about? You didn't have someone to base it off of. Did you see him and go, "How did Eminem get to this place?"
No doubt, man. Because he M. He made the right choices in what he did, man. Not only is he nice, but he made choices where we couldn't get mad and couldn't deny him of what he was doing. You know what I mean? He didn't try to be nothing, that he wasn't. He let us know who he was off the rip, man. And at the end of the day, it's a crazy talent, man. And do you
consider him? You consider him the names we just mentioned: Biggie, Tupac, Hov, and Eminem.
That's where y'all went?
That's where we went. That's where I decided to go. Are all four of those names that you think about in your top 10? Do you think about a top 10? You're so many people's number one. Or
I don't. I like so many different artists for different things. I never really, categorize, top 5 or top 10. None of that, man. I was just talking to Billy and Dance. Like, those is two of my favorite MCs all
Fame
time.
and Dance, yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? And again, I got crazy respect for Hov. I got mad respect for Ghost. It's like, I love and I'm a fan of hip hop so much. And knowing how difficult it is to rate talent and artists when they don't do the same thing. You know what I mean? I don't try it. Yeah, I don't try it. I just appreciate, what I like. And
have you spent time with Kendrick Lamar's music?
Yeah, no doubt.
What are your thoughts on Kendrick?
Kendrick is nice too, man. And to be a young cat and to still have some of the traits that lyricists love, man. I respect that, man. And word up, big up my dude. Keep doing what you do. I love to hear young cats spit fire. Word up.
Now, Ciph, here's where we went. We talked about how he feels about some of the greats of all time, interactions he's had with them.
Okay.
I asked about what's on your mind. We talked about the history of Know the Ledge.
Okay.
We didn't have any 5% talk.
All right.
We didn't talk about
None of that yet, bro.
We didn't talk about album cuts off of Paid in Full or Follow the Leader. So wherever you want to jump in.
I did when I was A&R, and there was an engineer. His name was Eli.
Yeah, Eli Two-Ball.
Who you shouted out. Rakim shouted him out on record, I believe.
And I was like, a couple days, we were working with him a couple days. It was like, Eli. And I was like, yo, there's no way he was like, yeah. I was like, holy shit. And Cara Lewis was Nina Sky's agent.
That's right.
So it was like, I felt connected to Rakim in a way that nobody else could, you know what I'm saying?
A lot of people have had Cara Lewis.
Just a little, I just want to delve into a little bit because you, Wu-Tang, and the 90s, Poor Righteous Teachers, what led me into the path of gaining knowledge. Like, how did you get into it?
It's kind of like at first, I remember being a young kid. Me and my man was walking to the park. And try to make a long story short, we walked to this park. There was this brother out there that was kind of stranded, and he needed some money to get back where he was going. And he stopped me and my man, and we mad younger than him, you know what I mean? But he was like, yo, my man's, I'm out here, I live in such and such, trying to get back home. I ain't got no money. And me and my mans, we got candy money in our pocket. Our pockets.
Like a couple bucks.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, we looking at this dude like, I know this dude don't think he going, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he seemed so sincere, and he started speaking, and me and my man looked at him, and after he finished talking, look, yo, I got $1. You got $1 for me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Gave him some money because he was so sincere in what he was saying. We believe he ain't had no money.
Right.
So we made sure, we gave him enough to get back home. Years later, I found out that he was righteous. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When the guards came in Wild Dance High School and started speaking, I remember sitting there like, that dude was talking back in the day. You know what I mean? Because it was scarce in Long Island at that time. But from that to hearing a couple guards building in the school, I knew that was for me. And I quickly stepped in the cipher and just started, paying attention. Walked right to, one of the head guards at the time and said, yo, I need knowledge of self, man. And, the rest was history, man. And that was like late 85, just before the winter.
Late 85.
Just before.
And you come out in 86. And you end up coming out in 86.
Word up.
My Melody.
You understand how crazy of a year that is to get knowledge.
No doubt.
Why is that, Ciph?
Because the 85% is like the
85.
Dumb, deaf, and blind.
Right. So you become in 5% 85.
85. And you know what I mean?
Crazy.
It definitely, helped me a lot, man. Before that, not to be on no, I was a little gangster, but, I had gun charges since I was 12. Wifey, she was with me since I was 11. She'd tell you, that's my son right there. I had gun charges since I was 12. So, I know I needed something. To, calm me down, man. Just before that, I thought it was Zulu. And shortly after that, luckily, I heard one of the guards building in the hallway. Word is born.
Yeah.
I needed something to, slow me down, and it was
life.
Perfect. Word up, man.
Not. I wasn't in no street shit at all. I was just doing nothing. I was like just blind, watching TV, doing nothing.
Right.
And listening to what I liked is I learned it in music form, so it all kind of like made me obviously who I am today.
Yes, sir.
So thank you for helping me in an indirect way.
Oh, no
Hey,
doubt,
where
man.
do you rank Rakim among the artists who drop 5% lines in music? Not at the top.
Not as high.
Who's the highest?
His shit, Brand Nubian's the highest.
Oh, Brand Nubian's the highest.
Brand
of course.
Nubian was like
Yeah,
everything they said,
mathematics,
everything.
Straight,
It was
like,
straight mathematics.
straight off the yeah.
But Rakim's was so slick.
Right,
It was in there. You had to already have
knowledge yourself.
a little
Right.
okay, you listen to a Rakim song and then years later you get knowledge and you listen to it again and you're like, oh,
Tell me a line. Tell me a Rakim
like the
line.
7 MCs.
Okay, I don't know what
That's the God number. Like it had to be relevant
Right.
in some way, you know what I'm saying?
Word up.
So like it'd be little, and in the ghetto there's like little slick.
Well,
You know-
like my thing was at that time, it wasn't too many, it wasn't nobody doing it at the time, and with respect for the culture, I wanted to make sure that I was doing it where people didn't feel I was trying to rob the culture. So I would never quote a degree word for word. I would only speak on understanding that I had and that found its way to the paper. You know what I mean? And
Crazy.
Word up. But,
how was there's over the years there's been some things said about the relationship between you and Kane.
Yeah.
You know, you guys are sort of 1 and 1A.
Eric B's
Yeah,
Eric B's brother was his road
his-
manager, right? So
yeah,
there was always
word
like
up.
there was a connection,
connect,
and
brother.
you were the number one guy. Kane was clearly right there.
No doubt.
You know, I mean, Kane is he's right there.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
what's let's start with what the relationship used to be like. Did you have a relationship with Kane in those days?
We met each other a couple times. I remember we met at this I think it was a Def Jam party, and I think him and Biz joint that just came out.
Just Rhyme with Biz.
Yeah, and
Arguably the most sampled rap song in history. Yeah.
definitely by
Word
Pete
up.
Rock.
Certainly by Pete Rock, who's here today.
He probably bought Kane a house.
He used it on your records, I think, too. On
Word,
Saga
word.
Begins. Yeah.
Word up, man.
He might be on there.
And we met at a Def Jam party, you know what I mean, kicked it a little bit, said what's up. And then after that, we might see each other for a quick minute, but we ain't, really speak much. And then the silly shit started happening where, I thought Kane was popping off, and I guess people was telling him I was popping off too.
You know how them Brooklyn niggas do.
That's what they would say. That's what they would say.
Word up. So I went and recorded Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em, and I think at the end of the first verse I said something to Kane, and I remember sitting at the crib and Eric B brother, and which is very sick right now too, man. I want to send him some love. He out in Vegas in the hospital, man. Hope you get better, my brother, if you listening, man. But and Live called me up. He was like, "Yo, Rob, man, Kane want to talk to you." I was like, "Yo, Ant, don't put him on." Kane's like, "Yo, Rob, I just want to, holler, man." But we kicked it for a minute. He was like, "Rob, listen, man. Ant just played me the record, and he said, I want to let you know, it ain't no beef. People be trying to gas the situation and things like that. But he was like, it ain't no beef, bang, bang, bang." So I went back and took his name, and everything off the joint. But coming up, again, man, I try to be humble as possible. But Kane, was one of the MCs that was a problem.
Because he was that good.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And,
So it was all was it all rap? It was just
Straight rap.
Yeah.
rap.
Y'all both being too good at the same time.
Word is born. And you know what I mean?
But so
being
different,
young
though.
and yeah.
So different.
So
that
different.
too. Word up. So, being young and cocky, I used to kind of look at him, out the side eye a little bit. You know what I mean? But recently, man, like,
You almost have done 1 million shows at this point.
yeah. You know what I mean? And like a couple years ago, man, we sat down, man, and I got the utmost respect for Kane, man, and we kick it now on a mature level, man. Just like EPMD, when I see them now, I got the utmost respect for them.
Was it at some point not good with EPMD?
And back then, it wasn't really good with too much of nobody, man. It
Really?
was,
Outside
and,
your
and
own
it
crew?
wasn't, it wasn't a problem. It was just testosterone, man. You know what I mean?
A lot of
just
that.
being young
But
and
what-
just
Were you? I mean, I don't know how to. You weren't very social. Like you didn't really hang out much, right? Like,
yeah, you know,
Like,
I tried to stay, you know, clear of a lot of industry things.
because he wasn't part of no. Like you could have easily been in the Juice crew through the Eric B.
Right.
Marley connect, but
Exactly.
you weren't down with any crew. You were just Eric B. and Rakim, and really, Eric B. seemed like he was down with all them people. So it was really just Rakim.
Right. You
know
were
what I'm
kind of
saying?
on your own.
Word up.
And do you think that was part of it? People thought you wanted to be on an island. People did people
Nah, yeah.
think you thought you were better than them?
I hope not, man, because it wasn't really about that. It was more like me just trying to like stay normal and keep my sanity. You know what I mean? Like,
Makes sense.
yeah, I never wanted to appear better than nobody. No, you know what I mean? Again, if anything, it was just, you know, young, egotistical MC, you know what I mean? Knowing that, you know, I was kind of doing my thing. But, you know, and even more than that, I think that was hip hop then, man. It was, you know, chest out, you know, it wasn't as friendly as far as a lot of groups, you know, collabing,
was-
you know, that kind of came after that era.
Yeah.
Why no? Were you asked to be on
Self-destruction.
Self-Destruction?
Wow, y'all been doing a little homework.
Oh, we do this.
We do this a little
for
bit.
while.
We've been doing
See
this.
what else you got over
No, we don't have this. Is
Nothing. That's all here. That's all here. That's all here.
Yeah, because
I can't. We don't write any of this down. This is just shit we want to
freestyle
know.
it.
We want to know.
But that's a good question, man, because I felt the way. I ain't gonna front. I felt the way.
Well, you weren't asked.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And I
I
felt.
thought you.
No. Well, the Kane story is that Kane wasn't in it, but that he showed up to the video, but he wasn't on the song.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'd never heard about whether. How did that happen?
I think Eric mentioned it in something.
Well, how did you ever ask or
Nah,
talk to KRS about it or?
Let's call D Nice.
Nah, I kind of just, you know, I had to let it go. You know, I wasn't on no like, yo, you know, you're supposed to call me or whatever. You know, I just, you know, I definitely felt the way, man. But you know, that was KRS record, and you know, that was another MC back in the day. You know, like Kane. You
Yeah,
know,
he's on there. He's
you know
up
what I
there.
mean? It's, you know, it wasn't no disrespect back then, but I could tell that there was a little tension like between me, Kane, me, KRS, and you know, a couple cats, just
What about
because
G-Rap?
we was. Now me and G-Rap, I took G-Rap on tour with me early in the game. That's my little brother. You know what I mean? Like I never felt nothing from him. You know what I mean? Like,
Because it's always the talk is always Kane,
yeah.
KRS,
G-Rap.
G-Rap, Rakim. Like that's
Those are the core
that's
four.
that era that changed everything.
The way people rap. Yeah.
no doubt.
There's no
Big up G-Rap too.
There's
man.
no Big Pun and there's no Eminem without G-Rap. I mean that's sort of the
Yeah,
way that
yeah.
went. Did you ever meet Pun?
Yeah, no doubt. I met Pun at the Apollo, man, and it was crazy. That's the first day I met DMX too, and we all met at the same time. And I just remember telling both of them like, "Yo, man, I got mad respect for y'all. Keep rocking." And you know, hopefully we can get at it in the future, man. Word up.
I gotta ask you. This has got to be crazy. Ra, you got to be around. I'm not going to ask your exact age, but you got to be around 50, right?
Not yet.
Not
Not yet.
damn.
yet.
Hip-hop age is slow. You're still not 50.
Not yet, man.
God damn.
40 something. I'm in the high 40s though, baby.
47 is not bad, yo.
All right, so here's the thing. You're in the high
47 is
40s.
not
All
bad.
right, yeah, it's
Five-
good,
you're in
man.
the high
I'm
40s.
real close to that, man.
So you're in the high 40s.
Yeah.
You started popping when you were 17, 18 years old. You've been thought of as like the best in the game since your mid 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to ask this in a way you can answer, but like you've been thought of as like a sort of godlike character more than you were ever thought of as a regular person. That's fucking weird. Like
crazy.
you're a regular dude, right? Like you got a
real
wife.
regular, though. Like,
you
I'm
go
real
you go to the
regular.
bathroom. You're a regular guy.
Real regular, man.
But people like us who are pretty accomplished in our own ways freak out when we meet you.
Yo, man, it's
So
a blessing, man.
how do you compartmentalize it though to stay normal so you don't get gas? Because you've never Rakim, since the second I met you, when I first got up here, you've been nothing but kind and regular every time. You knew
All
my
day.
name after a couple of years. You've
No
always
doubt.
been a really
I
regular
told you,
guy.
man, when y'all was popping off with that real shit, man, yo, we was tuning in, and we had hope. We had hope, man. You know what I mean?
We ultimately failed you.
We
I mean,
had hope,
the game
baby.
is still struggling. But how do you compartmentalize it and not become a dickhead? I mean, there are
Yo.
people much less accomplished than you who become dickheads, and you've become this. You're still this regular guy. How do you do that?
I think, moms and pops, brought me up good, man. My pops is my hero, and my mom, she always, stayed in my face, stayed in my ear, and I just appreciated them so much and respected them so much. I always wanted to impress, man, and it just kind of rubbed off. I had kids at a young age, so I had to.
How many kids do you have, bro?
I got 4, man, and I had 2.
How many here tonight?
2.
Just 2 of y'all tonight?
That's my youngest son, Jabbar, right there.
Okay, Jabbar.
And
Jabbar, I know you.
my daughter somewhere, and my daughter.
What
All right, no doubt.
what
But yeah,
were your
just-
parents around to see
yeah, they
your success and
my father passed in '88.
oh, so he just
yeah,
he caught
like
some
it
of
just
it.
He caught
popped
some
up.
of it.
Yeah, man.
But he didn't know that you became the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
Nah,
right.
I don't think so.
But he saw that you were big. He saw that you popped off, though.
And, one of my dope memories of chilling with pops and sharing that moment with him was at Nassau Coliseum. And
Of course, he came to the Long Island show.
yes sir, yeah, I mean.
Going to the garden? He was not going to the garden.
Nah, man.
You go to Nassau,
But,
though.
that's crazy. Mom and Pop was from Brooklyn, man. So
Oh, really?
it was
Okay,
never
okay.
no issue with that. But
Okay.
Nah, I mean, but I just remember going up the side. They used to have these little steps on the side of the stage, and I just remember every time I went to the left side, my pops was right there, man, and it, kept looking him in his face. So, like. Am I doing my thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was a beautiful feeling, man. He passed in '88.
Did it throw you off? He passes right in your prime. Was that tough?
it
How tough
crushed
was
me,
that?
man? It crushed me, man. I kind of didn't want to do nothing for a long time.
And he must have been relatively young because you were young in '88. You were in your mid-20s.
No, but he's the youngest of 5, remember?
But you're the youngest of 5. So what was your dad, in his late 60s maybe?
He's 58.
Oh, so he was still young.
Yeah,
He was young.
Hold up. And it crushed me, man. And it's hard to get back on the horse, man. But like my pops was so influential in all of us being a part of music. He managed my older brother, Ronnie, until he took off. My older brother played with Mighty Sparrow. Remember Mighty Sparrow back in the day? From there to Orange Crush Band to going on tour with Curtis Blow, and he did so many other things. My pops was influential in that. So knowing that, he liked us being involved in music, after a while, time healed a little bit, and I met this kid named little high right now.
It's all right. It's been a long night.
My man C that did some joints on my album.
Okay.
Lost Professors people.
Paul
Man,
C.
Paul C. Excuse me,
No,
Paul,
all
man.
good.
Paul, man.
I know
Excuse
that's where
me,
he was going.
baby.
I
Respect,
know
baby.
Paul C, yeah.
But yeah, I met Paul C.
By the way, you see how respectful Rakim is that he's being that respectful to a man who's been deceased for a very long
Yeah,
time.
he-
and he
he
still
can hear
wants to
us,
get his
man,
name right.
Big respect, man.
Of course, the legend Paul
yeah,
C.
man. And it was crazy because I'm good. It was crazy because I haven't wrote in a while, and I met his girlfriend through somebody that lived in Wyandanch, and she was like, "Yo, my husband make beats." So I was like, "All right," I didn't think it was what I was gonna hear. But I was like, "All right, well, if you can get them some tracks to me from him, I'll see what's up." Long story short, he sent some tracks out. They was dope. I went to his crib, played me some heat, and then he gave me Ghetto. And that's the first thing I wrote since my past
Oh,
pops.
Paul C did that beat?
Yeah.
Paul C did that as the first
Paul C
thing you
Ghetto.
did
That's
since
the
your
first
pops
thing
passed away.
Wrote up. First thing I penned since
Ooh.
he passed. And
That's a good one.
yeah, it I kind of again, man, knowing that he would have wanted me to do my thing. And I felt that the song was right. It had that feel on it. And, that's why I threw it. I'm glad I listened when my father was rapping to me, joining there, man. But, yeah, man, that was my hero, man.
Do you feel the need to put out more albums? Do you want to add to what you've done? I mean, I want to say this right now while I have you here. The 18th Letter is, in my opinion, one of the most slept-on rap albums in history.
Thank
you. I know it ended up, I think it went platinum eventually, but it was...
It crept along.
It crept along.
Yes, sir.
But I remember at the time there were people who were disappointed, and for me, it's just such a thorough album. It's different.
Word up.
Oh, there you go, Ciph. Playing off the iPhone.
Original sample.
Wait, oh.
24 karat black.
So I thought 18th Letter was a beautiful piece of work.
Thanks.
Book of the next one. What was the next one with
Book of Life
with When I Be on the Mic on it?
Book of Life.
That was Book of Life. So now it's been some time since you've made a record. Do you feel the need to make more, or do you feel like doing shows and playing the role you play is enough for you in the hip hop game at this point?
Nah, man. For the amount of love that I got for it, I definitely want to make another album.
Maybe Dre's ready.
What up, kid? But after Joyce was
Coco.
good.
What up, Coco?
No, Joyce.
Joyce with Jazzy? Sorry, I'm drunk. I'm sorry, I've had multiple drinks. Jazzy, Coco, I love them both. Jesus, they're good female DJs. Give me a goddamn break, okay?
Very good. Whoa.
Hi, Jazzy.
But yeah, man.
Oh, so you think you would want to make another album? Though?
Yeah, definitely, man. Like to this day, man. I mean, I love rhyming. I love writing. And to this day, I feel I got a lot more to say. And yeah, man.
What else?
I got too much.
What else can he say?
I know he said enough.
I got too much love for music, man. So I'm gonna sit down. I spoke to a few people, a couple producers, man, and if it's just for Rakim fans alone, man, I would love to kind of end the legacy off right. You know what I mean?
The way De La did it, another Long Island group.
Of course.
The way De La did it
what
recently, they did like a crowdfunding thing, right? Like a Kickstarter.
Kickstarter joint.
And then they
made
did
great. It did
more. They got a bigger budget than they've ever gotten from the fans.
And then it did well.
And then it goes directly to the fans and sold after that.
And then it sold, and then they were at the White House last night. Shout out to De La Soul. I think that's an amazing story as well.
Big up, y'all.
Last artist I want to ask you about. So I asked you this. I saw you backstage at Rock the Bells, and you already answered this, but I want to ask Juan Epstein. You did not write Summertime.
No.
Here it is, a groove, slightly transformed.
But that beat was yours, though, right?
Was the beat yours?
Well, we actually had sample. We used the same sample. We was gonna bring it out, but we never got a chance to do it after they did it.
I think I heard Eric tell the story that Eric told him that they had that sample or something. So maybe it was
in his brain.
Yeah, maybe it was on his mind.
Do you know Fresh Prince?
Yeah, we did
That's
a
what
lot
you
of
call
shows
him?
back in the day.
If I'm talking to Rakim, I gotta call him Fresh Prince. He ain't Will Smith. We going back to Fresh Prince. But you have a relationship with Will?
Yeah, we used to do Latin Quarter. Like I met him like early in, what was it, 86, 87 when what was it, Parents Just Don't Understand came out. I remember we did a show at the Latin Quarter together. And,
did you think it was good? Like, did you? Because Parents Just Don't Understand was a straight up pop record.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I love Will Smith, man. But yeah, we thought that was like,
It was what it was. You thought it was what it was.
Yeah.
But I heard he was super cool, though.
Oh, no doubt, man.
So,
and Jazzy Jeff, man, to this day.
The greatest DJ of all time, in my opinion.
Man, like most. And to this day, man, I got nothing but respect for Jeff and for what Will did and managed to do with his career and, take it to the next level. I'm not going to front. When I look at Fresh Prince and when I see Will on screen, I think hip-hop.
Of course.
Yes, absolutely.
It was.
You know what I mean? That's where he came from, and it feel good that
and
somebody...
he was 100% authentic, and he
devoted
meant
to
what he was doing. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
he was definitely like
to this day. Whenever I see him in a movie, I think hip hop.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Word up, keep. Doing
Did you ever
your thing.
ghostwrite for anyone that we might not think of?
Nah, man, I was too,
Never ghostwrote.
Yeah, man, I was too stingy with
Selfish with the wrong.
Yeah, man, like
don't get them Rakim bars.
Word is bone. I remember, back in the day when E came to me, he was like, "Ron, somebody," I was like
right there, bars.
Man. Like, nah, man, I don't do that, bro. Like, nah, man, this is me right here. I don't even know what I'm gonna say on my next rhyme, man. And to write it for somebody else, nah, man. But if I would have known what I know now, just spreading the talent, and I would have did it.
Ciph, you
it'd
have
be
something
weird
else?
to write the whole rhyme for somebody, but collaborating with somebody would have been cool. Or like, I don't know. You weren't even really ever. You didn't have like a lot of features, or weren't a feature on stuff.
Jody Watley.
Yeah, Jody Watley.
I had to do that.
The truth hurts.
Yeah.
Yo, Rakim. What the fuck, bro? Hold on. We're sitting here. This is by the time I grow up on Rakim. Okay. And then here we are in 2000, whatever it is. I'm on the radio now as like a young adult on the radio. And you get a smash with Truth Hurts Addictive. It seems so random. How did that happen? That was your last hit, right?
Yeah.
Your last true hit. How did that happen? Good call, Cipha.
Dre in the studio.
Dre, right?
He was doing her album. And actually, the writers was in there writing. She wasn't even there that day. The writers was in there writing, and I walked in. I was like, "Yo, what's that?" I heard the Arab music. I'm like, "Yo, what's that, Dre?" He was like, "Yo, that's such and such." I'm like, "Yo, man, Save Me 16 on it." He was like, "That's an R&B joint." I said, "Save Me 16 on it."
Yeah, you heard what I said.
You heard what I said. I'm Rakim Allah.
On that, man. And sure enough, they finished the joint. She went and laid it down, and I went to the studio one day. Dre played it. I was like, "Yeah, that's hot." And he was like, "You gonna do it?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, what's good?" He was like, "You got 16." Went home that night, blew it out, came back the next day, and it was a good piece of little chemistry we had, man.
That was you have no idea how happy I was to be on the radio and playing a Rakim record.
Right? Yeah.
Yo, are you
Scooty-Doo.
Scooty-Doo? You fuck with any Drake records?
Drake? Yeah, man. Listen, man.
Yeah, what that left field. Yeah.
Left, but I gotta add, it's an interesting. Hold on, let's be clear. Drake is hands down the biggest rapper in hip hop. There's no question.
No doubt.
And Rakim's the greatest of all time. So I'm curious of what your thoughts are on Drake's music.
Yeah, man. Like, at the end of the day, you can't front, man. Drake makes good music. He he sticks to his brand. He know what he wants to do, and me being as far as hip hop, I like a little bit of the the melodic. I don't know, but
you like joints for the ladies. Let's be clear.
Oh, no doubt,
Rakim
no
was
doubt.
down to make a joint for the ladies.
No doubt, but saying like meaning I love fame and dance.
Of
like,
course,
I love that kind of hip hop. But you can't front, man. If you driving and a Drake song come on, when you first hear it, you might not love it, but after a while, it's like, yo, you can't front, man. Like, yo, keep doing your thing, man, and making good records, man. And what we got to do, we just got to make sure we know how to, label it, man. I think that's the problem right now, man.
Everyone labeling everything the same.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Everybody
like Lil Yachty's getting labeled the same thing as Kendrick, when Lil Yachty's great and Kendrick's great, but they're great in different ways.
Exactly.
In rock, there's so many subgenres, but hip hop is just hip hop.
Rap.
Yeah.
I know. I find that to be a problem too.
And I think people wouldn't have much, as a problem with certain things. That I think if we labeled it right, man. So, maybe it's gonna take somebody like yourselves, man, to kind of set up the
what that genre is.
You know what I mean? Or just bring that awareness to the table that we have to get a little order in the game now. We grew a lot since 70, 69, 71, 72. Like hip hop's grown so much since then. I think we just need a little some superior cats that can oversee the situation, and we got to start shaping this thing into what it's supposed to be, man. But it's not gonna happen unless it has to be somebody that's well respected and you know, the hip hop game. You cats been holding the torch.
Wow, that is very kind. If I find that person, I'm going to tell you because it can't be me who you're talking
End
about.
it right there.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And
End
you
it
know,
right now.
I'm going to end it right
It's
now.
not gonna get any better than that.
Coming from y'all, you know. I mean, people listen, man, and y'all been again holding the torch that people know if y'all say something.
Rakim, I want to say something very clearly.
Yes, sir.
Looking you in the eye.
No doubt.
If tomorrow I interviewed Barack Obama,
Right.
it would be tied for the greatest day of my life.
Wow.
Okay?
Shit.
No, I'm being dead ass. We've interviewed Hove. We've interviewed Eminem.
Wow.
I've sat next to the greatest athletes of. This means the world to us.
Thanks,
we have
you.
been
real
You are.
I appreciate that. From all.
I can't describe what you mean to our. No matter what happens with my career, if one day you see me hosting the Tonight Show on NBC,
Right.
I want you to know that I will still hold this moment as the greatest moment for me
Yo,
to
thanks,
sit and
man.
talk to you about our culture.
Thanks, Pete. Word up, man. I mean,
The fact that you know my name is the greatest thing in my
I'll
career.
be like, yo, Pete Rose, what up,
Yo,
man?
that's the greatest. That is the greatest thing in my
What up?
career.
Yo, his daughter, last show we did, the last bachelor ceremony in Jersey, his daughter was like, yeah, my dad's a fan of you. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, how?
It doesn't even make sense to us, Ra.
Yeah, man,
Like you.
listen, man, like, you know, again, man, being a fan, man, and, you know, we got radio personalities, man, and y'all authentic, y'all been real with it, y'all well respected with it, and, I mean, and the way y'all do your thing, y'all right here capturing everything, man, we got much respect for
Well, we just care about
the
it.
way y'all do it and present it and give it to the world.
The reason we started this podcast was to try to document moments like this, and the dream was always you. Don't worry, we're not going to retire. Even though we finally got you, we're not going to quit tomorrow,
No doubt,
but we
no
could.
doubt. Yo, thanks for that love. Word up.
Rakim Allah, thank you more so much.
Likewise, man. Thanks for the welcome, Matt. And y'all keep doing what you're doing.
And Cipha Sounds, I want to say something to you, too.
Pete Rose, one love, baby.
Thank you.
Ciph.
Yo, I need this.
Yes, sir.
And Cipha, I want to say something to you. Cipha, I want to say something to you also.
Word up.
Go fuck yourself.
What? Me?
All right, good night.